Hey everybody, and welcome to Find Your Flow. I am Natalie, and today we have a full body flow just to shake it off, shake it out. This is suitable for beginners, but also there will be options for the more intermediate yogi, so hop on your mat and I'll meet you there. Alrighty, we're going to begin in a comfortable seated position, so just find something that works for you. Come to sit up nice and tall, and when you arrive there, close down the eyes and let the shoulders soften away from the ears. We'll just take a few moments here to settle into this space and into our practice. Acknowledging what we brought with us to the mat today and just accepting it as it is with a real loving kindness, a patience. And as we sit here, pay attention to your breath as it flows in through the nose and out through the nose. And that's all we're going to do, just pay attention. Notice how you're breathing, as this can be a really great indicator of what's going on with the nervous system, what's going on in the mind, in the body in general. As we add a bit more intention to our breath, are we able to just slightly slow it down? Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. We'll breathe here for one more minute. And just ask yourself right now, how can I move in a way that works for me as I've showed up today? So recognize if you are nursing any aches or pains, whether they're short-term or long-term, whether your mind's feeling a little bit fussy or distracted, anything at all, just know how you can come to serve yourself in your practice as you are right now. And then before we do anything else, take one last big breath in. Open your mouth, sigh it out completely. Float the palms together at the heart, bow your head towards your hands and thank yourself for being here today. The hard part is over. You've chosen this video. Let's move. Fluttering the eyes open and interlacing the hands, reaching them forwards and then all the way up towards the sky. Taking a big breath in through the nose. Exhale, release the arms, spread them really, really wide and interlace again. Inhale, reach forwards and up. Lengthen through the sides of the torso, but soften the shoulders, and then exhale, release energy all the way to the fingertips. We'll do that one more time. Interlace, reach forwards and up. Exhale, release, spread wide, and then cross one arm on top of the other. Really wrap the fingertips around to the shoulder blades and just curl forwards, rounding through the spine, spreading the shoulder blades apart from one another. On your next inhale, lift up, open out wide. Exhale, cross the opposite arm on top this time. Round and roll it through. Nice. Lift up. Reach the arms out, interlace again. This time keep them at shoulder height. As we twist to the left side, lower body stays heavy, rooting down where it is. We'll just rotate here through our rib cage. So keeping your hands gazing at the knuckles. And then release and find a full twist. So right hand comes to the outside of the left thigh, left hand swims behind us. Inhale to lift tall. Exhale, maybe explore a bit more of a rotation in the ribs, only if there's space, keeping the shoulders soft, legs grounded. And then float back to center. Juicy love for the spine. Interlace, reach forward, shoulder height, and twist to the right. Stay here for one more moment first. And then release fully into your twist. Right hand swims behind us. Inhale to lengthen. Imagine there's a piece of string pulling up from the crown of the head. Exhale to twist it out. Nice. Making your way back to center, we'll jump straight through to a tabletop position, all fours. Take any extra padding you might want underneath the knees, and just be aware of how you place the hands with the wrists beneath the shoulders. Really spread through the fingers actively. Imagine you're trying to press the ground away as we lift out of the shoulder joints so we're not collapsing down. And then find that slight hugging in of tummy button toward the spine so we're not collapsing in the lower back. Awesome. Tuck the toes under. Really actively press through the palms as we hover the knees off the ground. Keeping the gaze in between the hands, just breathing here. Jaw stays soft, relaxing through the muscles of the face. And release. Walk the hands back. Sit onto the tucked toes. If this is way too much, then just sit onto the tops of the feet. And then reaching the fingertips up towards the back of the head, keeping the elbows out nice and wide. Just bring the left elbow down towards the ground, right elbow up towards the sky. Big breath in through the side body space, the intercostal muscles. Exhale through center. Bring the right elbow down, lift that left elbow high. And exhale, come back to center. Release the hands, come back to your tabletop. If the toes were tucked, just release them and give them a gentle tap now. Sturdy all fours position, curl the tailbone down, lift the spine, drop the gaze into cat pose. And then use your breath to lift the tailbone, roll the tummy down, open the heart to cow. And we'll move a few more times here through cat and cow. Starting this movement from the tailbone and rolling like a wave through each vertebra one by one. And just paying attention to what's going on in the spinal space today. If you want to have a little wiggle, veer off the train tracks, then please be my guest. And just take what you need. Nice, one more time, rolling through cat and cow. And as we float back to our neutral spine, again pressing actively down, we'll tuck our toes under and hover the knees off the earth. And from here, send the legs out long into our high plank. Actively press away through the heels. Mindful the hips aren't dropping down or lifting really high. Just keeping that long line from the back of the head towards the back of the heels. Either stay here or knees to the earth in a low plank. Hug the elbows in towards the rib cage. Lower belly to the earth. Take the feet out wide, hands back by the ribs. Open the heart, cobra. And soften, nice. Pressing all the way up and back into a child's pose. Keeping the arms reaching forwards. Take a big breath in. Long breath out. Keep the arms reaching forwards as we tuck the toes, sit the hips back, spread through the fingers, downward facing dog. Tailbone reaches to the sky. In your down dog, just have a little wiggle and a pedal. Notice how it feels here. Remember, don't worry about getting the heels down to the ground. Instead, think about that softness in the knees so we can tilt our pelvis up towards the sky and lengthen a little more through the spinal space, through the back body. Nice, one more breath here. And then walking the hands back to the feet, find a forward fold. On your next inhale, lift up halfway, glide the hands to the tops of the thighs or shins, flat back. Exhale, fold. Hug opposite hand to opposite elbow, sway gently side to side, and just begin to become a little more aware of the feet spreading, the toes nice and wide on the mat as we really let any tension go from our head and neck. Awesome. Float to center, release the arms. Keep them heavy as we roll all the way up to standing. Restack the spine, head and neck come up last of all. And as you inhale, reach the hands all the way up and then dive, exhale down to the ground like a big swan. Palms to the earth, walk forwards to downward facing dog. From here, roll through to your version of a plank pose. The knees can be lifted or lowered. Choose your own adventure today, whatever works for you. We're looking to keep the form here so that wherever we are, we're feeling nice and strong and from a place that we can really grow from. Hug the elbows in, lower to the ground with control as the belly touches down. Open to your cobra. This time, stay here. Float the hands off the earth. Reach them out wide and then towards the back of your mat. Take a big breath in. Exhale, release. Pressing all the way up and back. This time straight to a downward facing dog. Toes tuck, tailbone high. Nice. Walking hands back to the feet. Find your Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Long flat back, gaze down. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press into the feet, reach for the sky. Float the hands wide and high. Exhale, dive all the way down to the ground. Nice. Palms to the earth, walk it forwards. Downward facing dog. Take a breath here and then roll it through to your plank pose. Knees lifted or lowered. Hug the elbows in, come to the earth with control. Belly to cobra. Stay here. Reach the arms off the mat and float them behind us. Keep that heart space really shining forwards here, strengthening and supporting the back body. We can stay where we are or lift the legs off the ground so the upper thighs come to lift as well. Doesn't need to be a super high lift here. Just be mindful of your breath. And as you exhale, release. Plant the palms, lift all the way up and back into a downward facing dog. Nice. This time from down dog, float the left leg off the mat. Three-legged dog. Open the hips towards the left side, but keep the upper body facing towards the front of your mat. And keep that right knee super soft as we send the heel down towards the ground. Just opening through the back of that right leg. Getting some movement into the left hip space as well. We'll add some circles in one direction through that knee. Nice. There's no need to rush these either. Send your circles in the opposite direction. Awesome. And then squaring the hips back to center and release left foot down. Float the right leg high this time. Bend the knee, open the hips towards the right side. Again, think about bending that knee so we can send the heel towards the ground, doesn't need to touch. And begin to find big, nice circles with your right knee. Keep paying attention to the breath. Notice if you're holding the breath and just invite those super conscious inhales and exhales back to your practice, circling in the opposite direction. And then squaring the hips back to center and releasing. Stepping the feet together, really together here in our down dog. We'll keep our palms planted and moving here almost like a corkscrew. As we bend our knees, pivot on our toes, sit the hips down towards the right side. Nice, lift all the way up, pivot towards the left, bend the knees, sit the hips down. We'll do this a couple more times each side. Lifting all the way up and all the way down. Hips stay hovering off the earth as they touch down. Nice. Come back to your downward dog. This time left leg reaches off. Three-legged dog. Bend the knee. Hover it forwards towards the nose, round through the spine. And then step it forwards. Awesome. Just taking that right leg a little wider. So we're in our runner's lunge with either our fingertips on the earth or we can lift our hands onto some bricks just to find a little bit more height. Wherever you are, rock forwards, rock back. If you'd like to, you can bring that back knee to the ground here. We're just feeling into the hip space and just being aware of what's going on here. Nice. And then whether you have the back knee lifted or lowered, we'll rise into a lunge. So we're either here or here. Keeping that front knee over the front ankle, really being mindful of the hip space, left hip crease drawing back, right hip crease drawing forwards. Super strong connection to the lower body. We'll release the arms, find cactus arms with a big bend in the elbows. And on your next inhale, lift the heart, open, slight back bend. Exhale, release hands to the earth. Nice. Walk them a little bit further forwards. Option to bring our hands up onto something a little higher here. As we shift the weight to the left leg, float the right leg off the ground. And we might stay where we are, or bring one hand or two hands to the calf. Very gently holding on here though, rather than clutching for dear life. Maybe palms come together at the heart. Wherever we are, keeping those back toes dialing down towards the ground. Find one more breath. And fingertips to the earth. Gently step back and plant the palms. Come to your plank pose, whether the knees are lifted or lowered. Hug the elbows in. Either lower belly to cobra or find your chaturanga to upward facing dog. Upper thighs lifted, arms long, heart open. Nice. And we'll come to meet in a downward facing dog. Awesome. From down dog, float the right leg off the mat. Bend the knee, hover it all the way up and step it through. Take that left foot a little bit wider and we'll just rock forwards and back here in our runner's lunge. So find your own version, whatever works, whether the hands are on bricks or blocks. Props are just here to add a little bit more support to our practice. They often help us find a little bit more space. They don't mean that we're doing it wrong or incorrectly at all. There really is no such thing as that, as long as we're listening to our bodies. Nice. And then come into your version of a lunge. Really connecting to the lower body, finding that strength, that stability, grounding down in order to rise up. Finding cactus arms with that bend in the elbows. And on your next inhale, open the heart, lift the gaze. Exhale, round it through. Hands to the earth, walk them forwards and slowly shift the weight over to the right leg. Either stay here or find a variation if that works for you today. And it really helps to have your gaze on something that isn't moving. So find that spot on the floor, on your mat, whatever it is. And then making sure we're breathing as the fingertips come to the earth, left toe step back, and then plant the palms. Come to your plank pose, knees lifted or lowered, make your way down to the ground, belly to cobra, or chaturanga to upward facing dog. And we'll come to meet either in downward dog or a child's pose. And just take a few breaths here, wherever you are. Nice. And if you're in child's pose, begin to mindfully make your way up to a downward dog. Awesome. From here, walk, step, or hop forwards towards the front of your mat. Inhale to lift up halfway. Exhale to fold. Press down to rise all the way up to standing. Reach for the sky. Exhale, release, dive down to the ground. From here, fingertips to the earth. Step the right leg back. Take it nice and wide on a diagonal. And we'll hover our fingertips off the ground here as we float them back like airplane wings. Now really mindfully pressing down into the legs, engaging and connecting as we rise all the way up into a high lunge with cactus arms. You can keep the hands on the hips here if we want that extra support. Nice. And either keeping the hands where they are or adding on. As we inhale, lengthen that front leg, lengthen the arms. As we exhale, releasing, bending. Inhale, reach. Exhale, release. Couple more times. Keeping those front toes nice and soft. Once more, lift all the way up, energy to the fingertips. And soften, nice. Fingertips to the earth, step the back foot forwards. Uttanasana, forward fold. Just have a little pedal out through the knees, wiggle through the hips. And then step the left leg back on a diagonal. Fingertips hover off the ground and then reach behind us, airplane wings, keeping the front knee over the front ankle. Hands can come to the hips as we press our way up into a high lunge with cactus arms. Don't forget to smile, tune into your breath, stay aware. When you're ready, inhale, lengthen, reach tall. Exhale, release. Nice, keep moving here in your own breath. Nice, one more time. Come to your high lunge and then release, fingertips to the ground. Step the left foot forwards, Uttanasana. Have a little wiggle and a pedal. And from here, plant both palms and step or hop it back to a plank pose. Knees lifted or lowered your own way down to the ground, either belly to cobra or chaturanga to upward facing dog. And we'll come to meet in a downward dog, everybody. Nice. From here, roll through back to your plank pose. Making your way to the ground, this time everybody belly to the earth. And just meet here, taking the feet a little wider as we hover, hands off the ground. Reach them out wide and float them towards the back of the mat. Either staying here or adding on from before, lifting the legs off. Next option is to take the hands to the feet or ankles and press away. And breathing here. Remember, this is your practice. Choose what works for you today. Find one more breath and soften. Nice. Hands back by the ribs. Slowly make your way up and back into a downward facing dog. Take your time, move with your breath. And from here, we'll float the left leg off the mat, bend the knee, curl it up toward the nose, and step it forwards. Nice. As we rise up into our lunge, find cactus arms for one big breath. And then transfer and weight to the left leg. Reach the right knee up in front. And again, we can be here with hands on the hips, maybe hands to a wall or a sofa or whatever's nearby. So just choose your own bus stop. Next option is taking the right hand to the inside of the right foot. Try not to headbutt your wall if you have one in front of you. And then maybe we kick the foot towards the hand. Maybe that left arm reaches forwards. Wherever we are, keep rooting through the sole of the left foot, each of the toes on the ground. There's a lot going on here. So just breathing softly with awareness. We'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, step back, high lunge. Awesome, big breath in. Exhale, plant the palms. Step straight back to a downward facing dog. From here, reach the right leg off the mat, bend the knee, curl it up through to create space, and step forward. Take the feet a little wider as you rise to your high lunge, cactus arms. And then transferring the weight to the right leg, lift the left leg off. Just begin to notice what it feels like to be on one leg on this side. It might feel really different to the other. We can stay very much where we are here. Or left hand can come to the inside of the left foot. Maybe we kick the foot away towards the hand, find a little resistance. And maybe that right hand reaches forwards, but rather than focusing on creating a perfect silhouette or shape? Are we able to just feel what we feel here in our body? Connecting to our breath. And if we wobble and fall, just appreciating that this is all very, very much a part of our practice. Right toes stay soft. Stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step back slowly. High lunge. And release palms to the earth. Step back to downward facing dog. Stay here for 1 big breath in through the nose. Sigh it out the mouth. And release, knees to the earth. Take your child's pose, your own version, knees wider together, arms forward or arms back, and feel free to have a little wiggle here in the hips. Nice. And then come to rise up. We'll scoop our legs to one side. And if you'd like to, you can sit up on something here. If you do have a block or a blanket or towel, we'll just take both legs out long. Toes flex up towards the face. Take as generous a bend in the knees as you'd like to here. As we reach tall through our spine, we'll think about keeping on of this length as we hinge from the hips and fold over the legs in Uttanasana. I'm trying to resist the temptation to take hands to the legs of the feet and pull. Just keeping this soft, honest range of motion, just breathing here. Invitation to close down the eyes, and again, not focus on how far you're bending here, you're folding into this posture. But instead, just being with your breath, noticing how you feel, and just checking in. Meeting yourself where you are, accepting things as they are. And maybe that's not what your yoga practice is, but it's just something to think about. Nice, 1 more breath here. And then slowly rise up. Just moving your prop to one side. Keeping the legs out long as the fingertips float forward, and we'll super slow roll all the way down to the ground. Nice and slow. As soon as you arrive here, hug the knees in and rock gently side to side. Awesome. Bringing feet to the earth, nice and wide, hands to the belly. Just roll both knees towards the right, both knees towards the left. Couple more times here from side to side, just easing out the lower body, the hips, the spine in our windscreen wipers. And when you're ready, float back to center. Either keeping the knees bent or bring the legs out long, or close down our eyes. And you can stay here for as long as you would like to in Shavasana. If you have to boogie, no problem. Just spend this last minute here with me and everyone else practicing. Being with your breath, feeling the ground beneath you that's in contact with your body. Feel your body grounding down in contact with the earth. And take a moment here to smile in appreciation for showing up, for dedicating this time to your practice, and being awesome. We'll finish our practice here, bringing palms together at the heart. I thank you all so much for joining me. From my heart to yours, namaste.